Hey guys, it's Future Von here. This is going to be I guess, a clip of, well, a few clips of my stream that I did yesterday of me just yapping about the creative process, the lore of Art by Von and Von Ryu, and a little bit of lore about Radiant Lotus and the prototypes and stuff. So if you like what you see, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. As I said before in my last stream, what really inspired me was my favorite anime slash manga of all time, Hunter x Hunter. Togashi Sensei, if you ever watching this, which I highly doubt you ever would watch this, but it'd be cool if you did. I just want to say thank you so much. Like, for real, you inspired me so much to make a story, specifically at a time in my life where I had a lot of stuff going on. And your story helped me, honestly, and I want to do the same for other people. It inspired the framework, Hunter x Hunter, and a lot of other anime and manga as well, but mainly Hunter x Hunter, of course. Either 16 or 17 years ago, because it was 2010 or 2009. I used to make a lot of stories and stuff like that. It was one story. The first one was called Adventures of Tasha, I believe. Yes, that was the first. it's funny, it's funny to think about it now after all these years. But yeah, it was basically a manga about a wolf. Her name was Tasha. It was like a snake. I forgot the snake name. Spider, like basically like a bunch of animals and like mythical creatures and stuff like that. And Tasha was like, she was just going on these adventures and stuff. That's basically what it was. It was this character. Her name was Sora, and yes, I kind of ripped off the name from Kingdom Hearts because I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Um, her name was Sora, and she was a phoenix, and she was like a royal princess or whatever the case may be and stuff like that. One day, her father had got murdered by the Thunderbird because Sora's brother, he was jealous of her and stuff like that because she was the next prodigy and basically the queen of the fire dimension was where she was from and stuff like that. So her brother had conspired with the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird and the brother fused together and basically destroyed the fire dimension. But Sora's father taught her this technique. This it sounds so stupid now that I'm saying it again, but this is when I was like 10, 9 years old. Um, he taught her this technique to do something, and then he basically like sent her to another dimension or whatever the case. And that name of the series is called Utaria. In Utaria, it was a war going on with animals and humans and things like that. And like every so often, a wormhole will appear, right? Some mythical creatures will come out, like dragons, phoenixes, unicorns, whatever. Like these things will just appear. Some of them was evil, some of them were, nice, and they wanted to help out and stuff because they understand, what's going on or whatever. So the humans, they just wanted to basically experiment and, do stuff to these animals and things like that. Basically, just corrupt them and use them for their own gain, which low key, let's be honest, we already do that anyway. I just wanted to show the dark side of humans, I guess, in that story. But yeah, that was that story or whatever, but it's another one before Radiant Lotus. Yasha, he was training in his village, on the outskirts of his village and stuff like that. He heard a bomb go off in the village. So he rushed over. His brother, which his name was Yin, Yin, Yin from Radiant Lotus, his name was Yin. Yin basically, he got corrupted by something and turned evil or whatever the case. So the two began to fight or whatever. Something had happened. I'm trying to remember everything, but something had happened. I think it was like a artifact or something that Yin used or was using, and then it shattered into like 1,000,000,000 shards or whatever. I can't remember the actual number I said back then. I think it probably was a million because I was a kid. Kids kind of exaggerate sometimes on a lot of things when it comes to like creativity and stuff. But yeah, and that I know exactly where I got that from because yeah, in Yasha. I got that from that. And Yin had told Yasha, if you want to find me, get stronger. If you want to kill me, get stronger. And he disappeared. And yeah, that was the first premise of Radiant Love. I stopped drawing for a long time. I went to college. It was 2019. I remember, I think it was either in March or February. I I was watching Hunter x Hunter again because I haven't watched anime. I wasn't playing video games like that. Like I was really trying to find myself again because I lost myself. I rewatched Hunter x Hunter and I cried. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I cried like a lot through that anime. It just opened up my eyes to like, dang, this is some really good stuff right here. And also, I want to make something like this again because I haven't like created anything in a very long time at the time or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I end up started, I drew something for the first time. I remember I had got the lined paper, right? I was just drawing. Like I literally looked up, I think it was Gara. I actually have it on my page on Instagram. It's the first post ever that I posted if y'all ever want to go look at it. And I had did a drawing of Gara and I surprised myself because I was like, whoa, for someone who hasn't drawn anything in a very long time, you did a very good job, So drawn again and I fell in love with it and stuff like that. And I got me another sketchbook. Like I used to fill up sketchbooks left and right like it was nothing. I used to just draw so much. Like I have so many sketchbooks. Like before I even went digital, I was just sketching, draw, sketch, draw, da da da. I was just drawing everything. So during that time, after the Adventures of Yasha, Lotus, that was the next phase of Radiant Lotus before I came next. I changed the name from Yasha to Shin. His design still looked the same from the Adventures of Yasha, but kind of different. The premise of the story, if I remember correctly, is where's that binder? It was right here. I have a binder of when I was like doing the actual manga for like it's back then I didn't have no digital stuff. I was like a traditional artist, so I was just doing what I had to do. The artist ass, I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you because someone back then who did not study anatomy or anything, I was just YOLO in the shit and it looks horrible. But um I started drawing it and stuff like that. The premise of the story, if I remember, their father, which I'm not gonna say his name because the name is actually gonna come about in Radiant Lotus. And don't worry, it's not a father or anything. It's a character who's very important to the story. I don't want to say the name because you're gonna see him super soon, actually. Um, his father basically abandoned Shin and Yin, or whatever the case may be. He did that because both of them were weak. He wanted power. He wanted his sons to be stronger than him to take over whatever the case he was gonna do. So he left them out in the woods. He beat them badly, like on the brink of death. He just left them for dead, you know. But some people found Shin and Yin or whatever, and they took him back to the village, this one village or whatever the case, and they were nursed back to health by this character, which I'm not going to say who this character was, but she was basically, in a sense, in that story, she was like a Hami in a sense, if that makes sense. Yeah, and Shin, he wanted to figure out why his father abandoned him and stuff like that. So he wanted to find his father. So just ask that question, like, why did you abandon us? Why did you do this to me? Because out of Shin and Yin in that story, um, Shin was his favorite, the father's favorite. He favored Shin more than Yin or whatever. So, he just wanted to know, like, why did you do that? Like what was the purpose? You know? Yin, he wanted to kill him because of all the stuff that, he put him through. He wanted to just kill him and get rid of him. And we got Ready and Lotus, which, if you have read it, you already know what Ready and Lotus is about. So, boom. I just changed up some of the premise or whatever to fit the story. And yeah.